Hi, Scorpio. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for January of 2023. We are the astrologers of Pandora Astrology. I'm Jamie Kale Miller. I'm in Berkeley, California.
I'm Julie Mijas in San Francisco, California.
Before I forget, I'll be teaching two fantastic classes this month. One is about transits and the other is about the asteroid goddesses Chiron and the nodes. I'll give you more information about that as we go along. But right now, let's take a look at January for you, Scorpio. I want to start with two of our favorite asteroid goddesses, Juno and Ceres. At the beginning of the month, Juno starts out in Pisces, but Juno's been here for months, since July, really. And I don't want to belabor that anymore right now because I've talked about it a lot in the last several months worth of horoscopes. So I want to show you that Juno is quickly and finally moving on into a new sign now, and that's Aries. So Juno moves into Aries right here around the 12th or 13th of the month and enters into your sixth house. And Juno is an asteroid goddess of partnership, most particularly marriage and committed relationship, which can be business partnerships as well. And she's very much a goddess of social networking, connecting with your wider social net. And so the sixth house is a house of work, health, service, and personal organization. And so this is going to apply in your work life, in the place of work that you go to, and the people that you know there, and how connected you are to them. So you may feel like you kind of have the urge to network a little bit more in your job, to connect with the people that you need to know, or even to hook people up that really should know each other within the context of your job. And that can strengthen your social net there and the social net of the whole company, really. So you can be a great contribution with that. Now, this is also a house of health. And Juno being about marriage and committed partnerships, if you do have a partner, this may come up as a topic in your marriage. This is a really great time, and Juno will be here for a little bit more than 2 months. This is a really great time to be looking into the health and the routines around health that you and your partner share in your marriage. So you can support your partner on living a healthy, long life, and your partner can support you on that too. And you can get more cooperative about that. A wonderful way to support a marriage. Then the other planet I want to talk about is Ceres, right here in your 12th house all month. Ceres is in Libra. And Ceres is in the process of slowing down and is going to be turning retrograde early next month, February. She's not doing it yet, but she is slowing down. And wherever Ceres goes, she brings this quality of good stewardship. She is all about the things that connect us to the physical world, our physical bodies, the food we put into them, and the money we make to sustain them. Now, the 12th house is a house of retreat. It's a house of spirit. It's a house of seclusion. And whenever a planet enters into this house, it sometimes can seem to go underground or kind of disappear from sight for a while. Ceres entering into this house might mean that some of your routines around your health, around maintaining your body, and your eating might kind of unravel a little bit, and might need to be redone later, which wouldn't be surprising because Ceres is going to go retrograde. So you'll have plenty of time to figure out what all those factors are and adjust them over the next several months. I also want to mention that Ceres has to do with money, and Ceres entering the 12th house could take your awareness away from your money, and things may start to unravel there too and need to be put together and looked into and sorted out again over the next couple of months during Ceres retrograde. So beginning now to be more conscious about these things instead of letting them fall apart would be a really good approach. Hey, Julia. Hey, Julia, don't you have some news about the inner planets, Venus, Mercury, Mars?
Oh, yes, I always do. Hey
Hmm.
there, Scorpio. I'll start with Venus because everyone loves to hear about Venus. She represents great things like love and beauty and pleasure. So, Venus is moving pretty quickly this month. She's going to cross three different houses, but she's only going to spend only one day in the first house. So on January 1st, Venus is going to be in your third house. This house represents your siblings and cousins and neighborhood. So this transit mainly took place last month, but it's a really great time for getting along well with your siblings and also really enjoying your neighborhood, also connecting a lot with neighbors and people who live near you too. Then on January 2nd, Venus enters your fourth house, and this is a really lovely transit. It's going to take place for most of the month. The fourth house represents your family as well as your actual home. And with Venus in the fourth house, you could just really, really enjoy being a homebody for January. Maybe it's so cold outside, you just don't want to leave your house. Venus in the fourth is a great time for getting along well with your parents or anybody in your immediate family, also people you live with too. And if you want to do things to make your house a more pleasurable place, maybe buy some beautiful art to put on the wall or to do anything to kind of fix it up, this is a very good transit for doing that as well. Then by January 26th, Venus enters your fifth house. So after spending most of the month at home, you're going to want to go out after the 26th. The fifth house represents your children as well as places of amusement, places you go to have fun, like a bowling alley or a theater or a club or a bar. And the fifth house is also the house of dating. So after January 26th, if you do have children, it's a great time for just having a wonderful connection with them. Also, if you're single, then after the 26th will be a wonderful time for dating as well. And just kind of going out and painting the town red with your partner if you're in a relationship. Now, Mercury, I want to move on to Mercury next. This is the planet that represents communication and mentation. And Mercury is starting the month retrograde. So that's kind of a funky start to the new year, especially if you have travel plans around now. Mercury retrograde times are notoriously can create delays and frustrations with travel. Now, Mercury starts the month retrograde in your third house, which does represent your siblings, as well as short journeys too. So if you do a commute, or if you kind of have to run errands around the town, or if you like to do weekend trips to the beach, there could also be a lot of delays in even those sort of short trips you take as well as maybe miscommunications you could be having with your siblings, as well as with your neighbors too, which are represented by the third. Now, on January 7th, this retrograding Mercury is going to exactly conjoin the sun, and we call that Lesser Epiphany Day. And that's versus Greater Epiphany Day, which is going to happen later on when Mercury conjoins the sun while direct. But in either case, Epiphany days are a time of insights and revelations. And since this is happening in your third house, these insights could be coming, they could be based upon maybe understanding miscommunications you've been having, especially with siblings and neighbors, or maybe you've been having some insights into your commute or into your sort of short journeys that you take. Maybe you want to sort of go back over them in some way and plan a different route for yourself, for example. Then by January 18th, Mercury is finally going direct. We like to say give it about a week or so after Mercury stations direct after the exact day to really be fully out of this cycle, because that's when Mercury gains its speed in the in the sky. And then finally, other good news coming your way, Scorpio, and that's that Mars is finally going direct this month. I mean, Mars has been retrograde for a little while now. If you've been following our videos, you've been hearing plenty about it. Mars represents action and activity, and retrograde cycles tend to be a time where we have to really reorient ourselves to whatever that planet represents. So this Mars retrograde cycle has been happening in your eighth house. The eighth house is a money house. It has a lot to do with your investments. It has a lot to do with your 401k, your crypto, any loans, any mortgages that you have. And with Mars retrograde, since it's the planet of action, this might be a time where you've had to redo a lot of financial things in your life. Maybe you've had to think about remortgaging your house, for example. Maybe it's been a little bit funky to try to get a loan at this time period too. The eighth house is also a house of research and investigation. So if you've been taking any actions to researching or investigating anything in your life, don't be quick to jump to conclusions during a retrograde cycle, because you may have had to go back over your conclusions. Or what you thought you knew from those activities. Now, by January 12th, that's when Mars goes direct again, and that's really going to just kind of make things a lot smoother in your financial life, and be the end of a very frustrating cycle that we've all been going through over the past few months.
Julia, I'm just thinking that Mars in that 8th house looks really like it has strong powers of concentration and even a relentless quality about it. I would think that that could really cause some tangling up with Mars retrograde, some sort of like frustrating moments like, it didn't work, but I'm going to do it again, damn it, and see if it works this time, and again, and again, and again, and oh my God. And so oof. The second half of the month is going to be a lot better.
Thank goodness.
So a couple of moons to talk about. Here we have the first moon of the month is on January 6th, right here in your 3rd house, and very, very close to when Mercury and the sun conjoin. So Mercury is all up in this moon, opposite to the sun with Pallas Athena, and then some other planetary involvement in the way of Uranus and Chiron. And this moon we're calling hard work, deep care. And it's a very emotional moon, that moon in Cancer, at home in the sign of Cancer. This moon is very emotional and also very nurturing. And it's facing off against a very hard, cold logic and rational Mercury Sun combination. And so there's some, dueling emotions and logic going on there. And the square to Chiron can bring up some old wounding as well. And that might well happen for you in your 6th house, which is the domain of work, health, and service. And so if some old wounding comes up, if there's some argument, or if you're feeling like useless, don't despair, wait it out through this moon, and draw on friends and tribe for help and support. Here's this Uranus sextiling the moon, trining the sun, and helping to smooth and ease things out. And you can find out more about both of this month's moons in our January 2023 news playlist on our YouTube channel, Pandora Astrology. Next thing that happens is on January 20th, the sun changes signs. The sun has been spending much of the month in the 3rd house, really promoting learning and communications and that short-term travel that Julie was talking about. But here it moves on into your 4th house, where it's going to spend the usual 30 days. And wherever the sun goes, we want to bring the sunlight of our high quality attention so that things can thrive and flourish there. The 4th house being the house of home and family, domestic life, heritage, and roots. This is a really great place to cultivate, to pay some attention, to shine some sunlight, and to let the people that you live with, your family, your immediate family members, know that you've noticed them, you see them, and that you're proud of them. Now, I'm not saying make up stuff that isn't true, but if you can find positive ways to relate with family members, this can be a really wonderful place for the sun to be for the next 30 days. So that starts on the 20th. And then the day after, the moon joins the sun here in this 4th house, bringing even more emphasis to the realm of home. New moons are really great for new beginnings, the planting of seeds for something that will develop later. This one we're calling Nurture the Tribe, mostly because of its placement in Aquarius. And it also has a lovely, lovely tie-in with Jupiter and Juno, making this a really festive new moon, a really great time to plan an event or attend an event. And because this lands in your 4th house, you might want to be the host. You might want to invite all your favorite peeps over for some great food, per the Trine to series. Oh yeah, she's dishing up some good stuff, and do some networking and connecting and introducing people to each other that should know each other. So this is a really great moon for being a social maven and helping to strengthen your social safety net. That's all we have for you for today. And and screen share. Okay. We love making these horoscope videos for you, Scorpio. And if you love that we do it, please do hit that like button, because it really matters to us when you tell YouTube how you feel. Let your friends know about our horoscopes too. Have a gorgeous January, and we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye.
Bye-bye.